Hi everybody, it's Tom from Vehicle Visionary. Today we're doing another comparison video because I know a lot of you have been asking for more of these. So we're going to compare the 2023 Honda Accord to the 2023 Hyundai Sonata. The Sonata was redesigned for the 2020 model year. The 2023 Accord obviously fully redesigned for the 2023 model year. And what about the differences in price? Base price is going to come in favor of the Sonata, $25,100, and for the Accord, $27,295. So it's going to be very interesting to see what the comments bring as far as what all of you think when we compare these two models to one another. And if you're curious about possibly buying one of these or want to know more about either model, I borrowed the Sonata from Mike Morgan Hyundai. The link will be down in the description of the video. And the Accord came from Holmes Honda. You can find the information you need to know about either one of these. I need to know how not to get tongue twisted while I'm telling you about these vehicles. But if you check out the information in the description of the video, you can learn about either model or other models from each dealership. Tell whoever you talk to if you go to those dealerships that Tom from Vehicle Visionary sent you their way. I'll give you a good look from both sides so you can see the differences in the overall design of the nose, the hood, everything. You can see that obviously to a point, at least from this vantage point, that to about, I don't know, probably in this area right here, the slope is somewhat similar, but then on the Accord, it kind of tends to flatten out a little bit more, not completely, but the line's a little bit sleeker on the Sonata compared to what we have here. And for some people, they might like that more. Again, I was going to be curious to see what all of you have to say down in the comments section. Now with the Honda Accord, obviously Honda's direction for a lot of their vehicles for 2022 and beyond, or yeah, I believe it was even 2021 with the Ridgeline, was to square things off a little bit more. So that has definitely been done. If you like a more squared off look, you're going to like the Accord. The newly designed headlight housing with the LED daytime running lights, the LED headlights, everything here looks nice. The design of the blinker is a little more slender than what it used to be, a longer blinker. And here on the Sonata, we're going to have everything kind of flip-flopped in a way in that we have the daytime running lights right here and the blinker, also our LED headlights here. A different look, a different pattern. You've got the high beams right here on the Accord and right here on this model. So a little bit of a difference. But as far as the overall look, well, here's what you have. If you like a little bit more of a sloped, kind of rounded look, then the Sonata is probably going to do it for you. If you like a little more squared off, but still having some nice body lines, the Accord will definitely fit the bill for you. And as far as the grille designs go, both are nice and wide, but a big difference here between the two is going to be the fact that we don't have the same size grills, that's for sure. We're going to have the gloss black on both with the upper grille, but the separation between the upper and the lower grills, obviously a much more narrow line right there compared to what we have on the Accord. Here, it's going to be a lot larger, and then we're going to have, well, let's see here if we can give you a good look here. We will have the active air curtains here on the Accord, and then we're also going to have the same thing here with this model on the Sonata, but a completely different look as far as some of the vent work and some of the design overall on the front end. You're going to have a little more gloss black here. So if you like your gloss black, guess what? The Sonata definitely going to do that for you. And then as we move over here to the Accord, we do have a nice looking front spoiler here. Both models have a good look in that particular area. But the difference is going to be, like I said, right here. Even though there are some sloping lines with the hood overall, everything just is a little bit more sloped off completely with the Hyundai. So taking a look at some of the trim work, we're obviously going to have something here we don't have on the Accord. A separation that looks nice. I don't know that that makes it any better or not, but a big difference is going to be the difference in the sizes of the bulges in the center of the hood. I can just about, well, somewhat come close to stretching my hand all the way across that one. Not going to happen here because it's a lot larger. And due to availability, well, obviously we couldn't get the same color here, but it's okay, it is what it is. So you can see what's going on there. With the Accord, changes obviously came for the rear view or side view mirror housing. We're going to see the gloss black right here. Now you don't on this trim level have the turn signal indicator built in here. We will have that on the model that we have, which is the only one that was available from the Hyundai dealership, but you will have the turn signal indicator built in here. We're going to have the matte black on the bottom and the same basic thing we're going to have here, but the designs are both different. This one's a little bit more, I don't know, it just looks a little more modern to me right here, coming off of the door as it does compared to what we have on this section right here. Sitting a little bit lower, but still getting the job done in the same manner. Let's see if I can squeeze back here and give you a look from this particular angle. Both are going to have blind spot monitoring built in and kind of a similar look to a degree with each, having the surround, the trim that surrounds everything right here. So a good look there. Body color on the door handles for both, but there's a combination here of the body color and the brushed aluminum right there. And then again, a difference here in these models. The chrome trim all the way around the windows, top to bottom on the surround. Not quite everything here. It's going to start on the front and work its way all the way here to the back on the Accord. But as you can see, it stops right here with the quarter window, and then we have a completely different material. Not a bad thing as far as what's here. We will have the gloss black on the front of the back door and the rear of the back or front door, and then a little bit more back here just to kind of make things look nice and congruent. If you like the flat black look, well, there you go. You're going to have that here on the same places, but a different look altogether. Now, one thing, and I will show you a better look at this later on, that's going to be different between the two is something that's not available on the 23 Accord. And for some of you, it might not matter, but it's right here. This is the sunroof you get. It's a conventional size. Here with the Sonata, you do get the panoramic sunroof, which is definitely going to float a lot of people's boat a little bit differently than it does for some people from one person to the next. And a difference in the rear here. I like the fact that Honda did, I believe, do a very good job with the rear taillight housing back here on the new Accord. It doesn't have that stapler look anymore. It does look nice. I think it looks more modern. And I can pretty much say the same thing about what we have on the Sonata right here as far as that goes. But you'll see the differences in how everything is integrated. It's higher up here on the Sonata than what it is on the Accord. Tell me what you think about that. Do you like that? Do you have a preference? Does it really matter? Everybody has their different ideas. Obviously, we're going to have kind of a vortex generator look right here with more than just this area on the vehicle, but in quite a few different places around the exterior of the vehicle. I think that just gives it a more sporty look. And then on the Accord, it's a little bit more of a cleaned up look back here as far as the design coming off of the rear window onto the fenders and onto the rear trunk, onto the top of the trunk. And you can see the differences in lines. Hopefully that gives you a good perspective. It is a little bit more rounded. Everything on the Sonata more rounded than what we have on the Accord. But it's not as if the Accord has the aerodynamics of a brick. Now you do have a very clean looking rear right here. And the difference, I think you can probably see it. You have more of a rear diffuser look here on the rear of the Sonata than what we have on the Accord. And the exhaust is a little bit more pronounced, even though we just have the dual exhaust on one side. You can see the exhaust pipes here on the bottom down there. I think that's pretty easy to see. Let's give you a better angle maybe of what we have right there. But overall, the rear of both vehicles looking pretty nice, but I'm always curious to know which one you like more and why. And depending on your desires for horsepower and torque, well, there are a couple of engine options available. If you want the 1.5 liter that we have here, you're looking at 192 horsepower as far as what's under the hood with the Accord. It does come with a continuously variable transmission, which is going to be one big separating point between the two, in that the Sonata has an 8-speed automatic transmission. In this particular case, it's the 2.5 liter 4-cylinder engine. And for the real gearheads out there, people who are going to probably not appreciate this would be the majority, but I'll show it anyway. With the Accord, here is your option for putting the hood in place. You open it up, you have to put the manual prop rod in place. Not so with the Sonata. it has these struts right here that hold the hood up. That's going to be good. But what about the differences as far as, since we have about as close as we can get to an apples to apples comparison on engine options available for each model? Let's look at what the Accord offers for MPGs. As you can see right here, 29 city, 37 highway, 32 combined, and 3.1 gallons of gas per every 100 miles driven. Now, let's move over here to the larger of the two engine options, but let's see what the MPGs look like on the 2.5 liter. Still not too bad, very close actually. 27 city, 37 highway, 31 combined, and 3.2 gallons of gas per every 100 miles driven. And for those who may want to know what the remotes look like, on the left-hand side is the Sonata remote. And you can see that both remotes, obviously with the Accord being on the right-hand side, both have similar features and functionality. Lock, unlock, you can open the trunks, and both do come with remote start. The Accord remote is a little smaller, a little more compact, so if you're really tight on space in your pockets for the guys and purses for the women, well, then I guess that could potentially factor in. And one thing that is the same on both models, when you push the button to open the trunks are going to open all the way. And to give fair time to the Sonata, we'll do the same thing here. Who is the winner when it comes to cargo capacity? Well, we'll start with the Hyundai Sonata. We have a very similar setup in both models in that you have the ability to lower the rear seats by pulling on the releases right here. I'll show you how that works here just so you can see, because some people are going to say, why didn't you show that to us if I don't? So there we go with that. You're going to do the exact same thing over here on the Accord. And I'm just going to hurry up and try and get this done just to show you. There we go. We're going to pull on that release. Obviously, you can do that on both sides. Get the license plate bracket out of the way right there. There you go. What about max cargo capacity? 16 cubic feet with the Sonata. The Accord wins here at 16.7. And here is a very important point. Being that this is not the hybrid model of the Accord, you will find a spare tire available here. It's under the rear floor in the cargo area and the trunk area. And thankfully for you Sonata buyers or potential Sonata buyers, you'll find the same thing here in the rear area of the Sonata. Spare tires for both vehicles, at least when it comes to the non-hybrid versions. Let's talk about what rear seat passengers are going to find. Design, well, I don't know if that's as important here, but I'll just show you what's here. You've got the brushed aluminum trim work leading to the also brushed aluminum door handle right there, and the soft touch armrest. The materials there, that is comfortable. And here is the size of your door bin. Not very big right there, but you could put a decent sized bottle in there. Whatever snacks, whatever rear seat passengers want to do. And a look into the interior as far as what the interior itself looks like. We're going to have the singular seat back pocket, and we're going to hop inside here just so I can show you what's here. There is the armrest with the cup holders built in, and on the rear of the center console, the rear air conditioning vents that will help keep passengers nice and comfortable. And there is a singular, as you can see right there, the singular USB port. There should be more than one, at least two back here, but honestly 3, because you do have seating for 3 people. And then, like I said, you do have the panoramic sunroof, something that simply isn't available on the Accord as of 2023. And there definitely is a different design here on the Accord as far as the rear door panels go. You can see the differences in the armrest. Not quite as big, but it is soft and comfortable. We'll give it a armrest test right there. And a little bit of a different design, a little bit more space here. Not a lot, but there is some more space within the door bin. Similar setup on the rear of the seats with the singular seat back pocket. And in this particular case, here is the design of the seats. Now the Sport version is going to be a little bit different with the Accord as far as the seat designs go. A little bit similar to what we saw with the Sonata over next to us. And then a little bit longer armrest here and the cup holders built in. But one big difference that you're definitely going to see here is, well, that's what you get on the rear of the center console. No air conditioning vents and no connectivity options. And there is the conventional size of the sunroof. So tell me down in the comments, which version do you prefer? Or do you prefer no sunroof at all? Tell me your reasoning behind the answer you gave. And we'll start on the passenger side in the front seat area with the Sonata, taking a look at a similar design to what we saw in the rear with the trim work and the door handle. An elongated armrest here, a lot more space there, the same material, so just as comfortable, but definitely a larger door bin. So if you're going to ride in the Sonata, then you might want to call shotgun in the front seat because, well, there is your larger door bin. And depending on trim level, you can have either the power driver's seat and manually adjustable passenger seat, or both can be power. We'll hop inside and take a look at what we have as far as our overall design goes. A nice modern look here. You're going to notice that even though we take a little bit of a break here, let's reach over here with the brushed aluminum. It stops here, but then it picks back up and works its way all the way across on the dashboard. A nice looking, non-traditional looking air conditioning vent on the passenger side, and then these other air conditioning vents in this middle going to be the same way. Here is the glove box, quite a bit of space down in there. There is a lot of space in there. And then in this case, we will have wireless charging. Here's your connectivity for the front seat as far as the USB connectivity, 12 volt. And so quite a bit going on there. Push button shifting here on the Sonata, the piano black finishes in a few different places. You can see your drive mode selector right there. You know what all is there. Here is the combination lid for the console and armrest. We'll take a look inside of the center console. Quite a bit of space there. And here are the controls for the lights. As far as your map lights go, you can control this. Is going to control the sunroof up there, that panoramic sunroof that does tilt open. It also has the shade that I have open at the moment. And let's take a look at the vanity mirrors. There they are. No lighting on this one, but you can still see me right there. And then we'll take these and see how far back they go as far as the visors go. Pretty far back, that's good. Something that I thought was interesting, I was talking to somebody earlier about, in fact, you know what? I just realized I goofed on that. There we go, there is our light. Just paying attention to the mirror and not the light. So you do have the light up there, but in kind of a different spot. It's usually here on the visor itself. But tell me what you think about that. Somebody was telling me at a dealership earlier today that their wife likes to have the oh crap handle right here as opposed to right here. Kind of an interesting thing that I thought about. She'd rather reach up here. What are your thoughts on that? A very interesting thing, but everybody has their personal opinions. And in a similar fashion to what we saw with the Sonata, the Accord is going to have a larger armrest here in the front. Basically the same thing as what we saw in the rear, just a little bit larger. And then a larger door bin, but I believe the Sonata wins out on that one with a little bit larger door bin. And then we don't have all of the brushed aluminum trim work, but still a nice look here. We're going to have the same setup here with a power driver's seat and manually adjustable passenger seat. We'll hop inside and take a look. A difference if you are saying to yourself, well, I don't want something that looks identical. Well, you're going to definitely have that option here in that it does not. With the air conditioning vent design, really kind of emulating what we see all the way across the dash here. We do have the adjustments for the airflow of the vents, how much air is coming out, where it's going, all that good stuff is there. And let's see here, a little bit deeper angle here. It's kind of more of a sharp angle, hiding everything away a little bit better with the glove box and all of that. So there you go. You can see what's there. We are going to have a similar setup here with connectivity, but no 12 volt, 2 USB connectivities, or connections, I should say. Boy, connectivities, well, it just didn't sound right, but maybe it gave you a good laugh, unintentional, but it was there. Now, on this particular trim level, we won't have wireless charging on the Accord, but that's okay. It is available. And for those of you who don't like push button shifters, well, the Accord is likely to be your option or your go-to, at least in the head-to-head battle between the Accord and the Sonata. Similar setup here as far as you can go into econ mode. You can turn off the auto stop start feature. That's always a good thing when the vehicle is equipped with that feature. And then you can see what else is there with the cup holders. And let's see here, pretty much the same size on the glove box, the center console. The lid obviously doubling as the armrest again. And there is what the interior looks like. We are going to have a sunglass holder here, something we didn't have across the way on the Sonata. All your controls for everything as far as the panoramic sunroof goes and the lid. Now here you don't have to turn on a light up here because on the vanity mirror, again, hi everybody, you have the mirrors or the lights built into the mirror. Let's see if I can get this out. We'll push that back and see how far it goes back. Pretty much the same as what we saw on the Sonata. And then the oh crap handle is, well, basically identical. It's in my friend's wife's favorite spot for when he's driving spiritedly, I guess. Instead of having to reach up here, she can reach up right here. And for the most part, we're going to have the same setup here on the driver's side door as we did on the passenger side. You know, there are going to be some differences as far as being able to control the windows and those power side view mirrors that obviously both models have heated power side view mirrors. Here are the controls for some of the safety features that the Sonata is equipped with. You can drop this lever right here. This is going to work the same on both models, where you can adjust the tilt and telescopically adjustable steering wheel. But let's listen to what happens and watch what happens when we get in and close the door. Okay, we'll let you get that push button start. Going to be the same on both, just a different look here. We have a brushed aluminum button right here. As you can see, it says start, stop, engine start, stop. And there you go. So here is the look. And let's see, I don't know for sure about this. Okay, this is going to be something that's definitely going to be different between the two. And I'll show you on the Accord shortly. But as you can see, I turned the headlights on, but you don't actually have the illumination in front of the Sonata graphic on the Sonata dashboard. But a very nice, modern-looking instrument cluster. But you will see a big difference in the steering wheel design, in that the Accord doesn't have any of this right here. That's really just to make it look nice. It would be very awkward to try and drive like that, I would imagine. It doesn't mean somebody hasn't tried to do it. I'll bet they have at some point or another, but who knows. So there's what you have where that's concerned. A very nice looking infotainment screen here, and you do have built-in navigation. As you can see right there, it says map and then nav underneath, and you would think those are the same thing, but they're really not. This is how you go through all of the different features and functionality. A floating touch screen, it's a little bit wider, a little more slender than what we have in the Accord. And what about the rear view cameras? Well, there's just one here in this particular case, but, well, actually, I think, let's see, do we have two? Okay, we do have a couple of different angles or options here. Let's see if we can do, there we go, change that up. So there is that, and we'll go back into park right here with our push button shifter. You do have the dual zone climate control, and you have the heated seats. On this particular model, they are heated only, not ventilated. That's going to be the same way on the Accord. The dual zone climate control, very easy to manage, very easy to operate. And to just give you a quick look around in the interior here as far as the front seat goes before we jump out and hop into the Accord, and let me turn everything off so you get kind of the goodbye music from Hyundai. And just to show you the look here, it's going to be the same features, the same functionality on both models as far as what we have here. This one you can see better because we don't have that do not roll down the windows sticker right there. And like I said, you do have the control here, or the release, to control your tilt and telescopically adjustable steering wheel. And we'll hop inside, and once again, we'll listen. You don't have quite the level of graphics and animation that you did with the Sonata, but I think for most people that's no big deal. But here is a big difference with the 23 Accord. A very nice looking digital instrument cluster. And remember what I talked about with the headlights? See, there's that illumination that I was talking about. So just a little bit of an added touch. I don't know that that makes that big of a difference to most people, but for someone who reviews these cars for a living, I notice things like that. And you'll notice, again, a big difference in the design of the steering wheel. But like I said, probably not that big of a deal for most people, but just so you can see what is here. A completely different design on the floating touchscreen here, not only from 2022 to 2023, but between the two models that we're looking at today. And you're going to have the multi-rear view or multi-view rear view camera set up here. We have 3 different views instead of the 2 that we just saw. You can see some similarities and some differences. Obviously, you're going to have the dual zone climate control as well here, and heated only but not ventilated seats. So we're going to start out. I know a lot of you have been asking me in these comparison videos to drive the vehicles. I've tried to keep the video from being too terribly long, so we're going to still try and pull that off with the test drives anyway. But you know, once I hop into the Sonata, then I can give you a little bit better comparison of what it's like to drive these two vehicles compared to one another. The Accord, the horsepower between the two, pretty close, but the Accord seems to get down the road just fine. I'm not driving aggressively or anything like that, but the handling is good. The steering wheel is comfortable. It's not leather wrapped, but it is still comfortable. You have blind spot monitoring in both vehicles, and it's comfortable here. There's enough room for me. At 5'10", I weigh 175 pounds, so I'm comfortable here, not too big. It's a nice vehicle to drive. What can I say? The technology here is easy to learn and easy to use. A lot of you probably already know how to use this, but for those who may not, well, it really is easy to learn here in these new Accords, just like it was with the previous generation. Even though there's really not that big of a difference, there's a difference in overall look and appearance, but it's really a pretty simple system to learn and to use. But a good vehicle, the interior is comfortable, there's plenty of space for the driver and the passenger here in the front seat, and a reasonable amount in the rear. But let's get back to the dealership. I'm gonna hop into the Sonata and tell you what the differences are. Then I can probably give you a little more feedback on the two once I've driven both and have a little bit more of an idea. All right, we're gonna hop out on the road now with the Sonata. And the thing that I noticed right off the bat is that you can really tell the difference when it comes to the fact that the Sonata has an 8-speed transmission compared to the CVT with the Accord. So it really makes the Sonata feel like it has more horsepower. It feels more peppy. It's going to accelerate quicker. At least it feels that way. I haven't done any 0 to 60 tests on either model, but that's my personal thought on the matter. Both are comfortable and enjoyable to drive. They both handle comparable to one another as far as going through corners. But the overall driving experience, I really have to give the nod to the Sonata. The one thing, if I had to give the thumbs up more so to one model over the other as far as the instrument cluster and the infotainment screen go, I really have to give it, honestly, to the Sonata. Not only because I think it looks a little more modern, and it's not that the Accord is lacking in that respect. It does look good. It looks better than the 10th generation in that respect as far as I'm concerned. I know everybody has their opinions on that, but that's what I think. But here's the thing. As far as the infotainment screen goes, I like the fact that it's somewhat angled just a little bit towards the driver. This vehicle is a little more driver focused in that respect. So I think that really, as an automotive journalist coming from my point of view, I have to say the Sonata seems to be a little bit better in that area. But one way or another, they're both great vehicles, but I will say that if I had to choose between the two, the one thing that would really make me maybe lean a little more towards the Sonata would be the fact that it does not have that continuously variable single-speed transmission. Okay, it's your turn to talk down in the comments. I've given you a lot to talk about this time and asked a lot of questions for you to answer. So tell me which model you like more and why. Do you prefer the 2023 Hyundai Sonata, even though it hasn't been redesigned since the 2020 model year, or do you prefer the fully redesigned Honda Accord redesigned for the 2023 model year? Curious to know what each and every one of you have to say. Give me an explanation of why you answered the way that you did. I look forward to reading your comments. Gotta say a special thanks not only to Holmes Honda, but also to Mike Morgan Hyundai for loaning me both models for the day, and a special thank you to all of you for being kind enough to give me the opportunity to give you a vision for your next vehicle. If you enjoyed today's video and would like to learn about other vehicles you may wish to consider purchasing, check out the video that's on the screen right now, and I will see you there.